Welcome to this bite-sized video for the Digital Business Services T-Level, where we'll explore the pre-release task for the Data Technician Employer Set Project. The Employer Set Project, or ESP, consists of a series of tasks designed to assess the 5 assessment objectives shown. And this skills assessment is set and marked by NCFE. The ESP is conducted during a 2-week assessment window, which will be available in the summer and autumn terms. The tasks are designed to replicate the real-life industry experience, and we used employer and industry experts when developing the ESP to help achieve this. This video will focus on the pre-release task, the initial research that students perform before the 2-week assessment window begins, and this task is not assessed. Students can be given the pre-release information 3 weeks in advance of the assessment window, and do check the key date schedule as we do take account of the academic calendar and term holidays. As the provider, you'll receive the information 3 working days prior to this, to allow for confirmation checks and organizing for student distribution. Students should spend the next 2 weeks preparing their research based on the pre-release information. And there's no time limit, so students can dedicate as much time to their research during those 2 weeks as they'd like. The 3rd week is when the student's research is checked by the tutor to ensure it meets the necessary requirements, with students making any changes as necessary. The pre-release task will present students with a contextualized scenario. And this research is a chance for students to become familiar with the sector in question. They'll have access to this research for subsequent ESP tasks. And while this is submitted as part of the ESP evidence, the pre-release task is not assessed and no marks are awarded for this. The task will also include information about what different aspects their research should consider, with those areas remaining very similar from one assessment series to the next. And while there's no time limit on this task, there are some requirements that their research document must adhere to. And it is these requirements that the tutor will be checking and confirming. If a student hasn't met these requirements, missing a reference for example, then they should make any necessary amends during the week prior to the assessment, as students can't begin task 1 until their research is confirmed as acceptable. Here's a section of the pre-release task from the Summer 2022 series, and students should ensure that they read the brief carefully and extract some critical information. And you can encourage students to highlight this information. For example, what does the brief tell students about the client or employer? What sector or industry do they operate in? Do they produce a product or provide a service? But what about how the business operates? Is there a certain market or demographic they're more involved in? How do they market themselves? What's the range of products or services they offer? How are sales managed? Do they operate in a physical or online space? And then we have the needs and plans the business has in mind, such as expanding their reach to other countries, moving from office working to remote working, and are they anticipating or planning for any changes within the sector? It's good practice to expose students to a range of different industries and possible changes an organization might want to make, giving students the opportunity to practice their research skills and being exposed to different contexts and changes an organization might want to make to its operation. This will also be a good opportunity to go through tips on organizing and structuring their research document, such as using subtitles or headings, which could help students find the relevant information quicker for the subsequent tasks. They should also ensure they are accessing information from reliable sources, and understand how to identify when a website is reliable. Finding relevant data which identifies any trends, such as historical data and any patterns that have appeared. The most important aspect, though, is to ensure students are always considering the information in the brief and should regularly refer back to the industry and context given. We hope you found this useful and have a better understanding of the pre-release task. And do see our other bite-sized videos that form part of this Employer Set project series. Thank you.